You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the March 3rd meeting of the Michigan City Port Authority Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
The Michigan City Port Authority Board of Directors meeting. Call the meeting to order, and I'm looking for approval or corrections of February 24th, 25 meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as presented from February 24th, 2025.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Comments from the public. Anybody have any comments from them? Yes.
Good afternoon, my name is Dale Moyer. I'm the Vice President of the South Shore Sailing School. We just want to reiterate our interest in understanding the developments and the outcome of the potential lease that concerns the pavilion. As you may know, it's vital to the ongoing success and operations of our sailing school, and so we'll be interested to see what develops. We'd also like to make it known that we'd like to be a party to any discussions formally about what's happening, and the outcome of that is vital for us.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes.
I'm Chris Coomer. I was slip on Dock 500 at 511. I've talked to you guys a couple times about adding some concrete next to our, and most of you kind of know I've caught you over there. Is that something?
Yeah, it's in the works already.
Okay, it's in the works. Awesome. Some of the other people on the dock when we asked, also dock representatives. 2 years ago in the winter, we had a discussion about we were going to do better about having meetings this past year, and I don't know that there was ever a meeting scheduled last year for dock representatives to, so those, if, and I don't know what needs to happen, maybe it don't even need to be a meeting, maybe it's something where whoever heads that up, we could have somebody that we could contact that comes to the board.
Yeah. Well, Dan Messina is actually your contact for communications.
I know that you guys had said that there was supposed to be a meeting once a month on a Saturday or something.
Yeah.
I don't think they happened at all last year.
It didn't happen because nobody was wanted to be dock reps.
Okay.
So there was no interest, no one shared any interest, so that's why.
Okay.
But yeah, if you have any concerns whatsoever, Dan Messina, that's what his position is. You're more than welcome to reach out to him. And if you don't have a way to get a hold of him, I'll get you the information.
Okay. The last thing is there any chance, I don't know what the parking agreements are with the park, is I know that during COVID, we switched up the parking lot and everybody come in through this side and the park used the other drive. Is there a chance the park would let us go back to that since this is a semi-private marina? I know that the parking lot's a little different, but if they still had access, they're only using one lane going out. And all I think is that it'd give you the opportunity to fence this area up here. It'd allow you the opportunity to put in more wave runner slips, more dinghy slips, make more money, and it would eliminate the parking problem. I know there's a couple times this year it took me an hour to get into the marina. People that are paying $2,500 to $3,500 for a slip shouldn't have to deal with the parking problem that has nothing to do with the marina. I'm sure any of you that have boats or in and out understand what I'm saying. But if we could make some type of, work something out with the park system where the wood posts go down through there, where we could take from about the third one back this way and take it over just past the parking lot that we use, where the people coming out of the beach could still get into that lane on the south side. It would eliminate the problem with them. It would eliminate needing somebody to stand down there every weekend that actually last year they did a very poor job most of the time. And it seemed like, here's my thought. It seemed like they were there and did a better job during the week than they did during the weekends. And on the weekends is when you need that person to do their best job. You know what I'm saying? My philosophy is the marina that's open during the summer ought to have staff, more staff available on the weekends than during the week. The security is more of an issue when people aren't here than when people are here. If that makes sense. When everybody's out on the dock and people are at the pavilion, you don't need a bunch of security out there. It's when you need the security people to do their job is during the week. But that's just some of our concerns from the 500 dock that we sit and talk about a lot, and some things that we'd like to see addressed maybe in the future to help with the parking, to help with the security issue. So I just want to share those things.
No problem. Thank you. All right. Reports from the harbor master, Mr. Frank.
All right, since last time, we finished up working on our rehab on the small barge. And so we're just gonna run it on the hose to make sure everything works, and then it's going back in the water. We continue with some other winter projects. We're still making some anchors for the no-wake buoys and some other bathroom fixing up. We're doing some painting in the Trail Creek bathroom of the dividers, and we did that up here. And then also today, we started removing the de-icers throughout the marina. There's still some ice out there, but looking at the forecast, I don't expect there to be an increased amount of ice, so I think we're past that point. So that's all I have for now, unless anybody has any questions.
All good. All right, moving on. Reports from the assistant harbor master of administration, Ms. Flicky.
We're just taking in the payments now that they're due in another couple weeks, and just regular office work.
Not much going on. Sam is out today, so I will go over the bills to be paid. We have $11,146.75 going out to the normal billing, and then another $434.25 for merchant services, and a old bill from Horizon Bank for square use, which is part of the ramp that they had to fix. It was laying out there that had to get taken care of. So our total to be paid is $11,581 and no cents. So I'm looking for someone to make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion, we pay the bills.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Well, I only had a question about, of course, I've already talked to our harbor master about that, $1,500 for the salt for the parking lot. That seems like an awful lot, but he said it's probably more than just one application.
Yeah,
I'm sure
Neither
that's
comes in.
probably the,
multiple,
how many times they've been here. What do they charge every time they do that? Do you know offhand? Or they just do it at the end of the
150
season or
average, I
what?
think.
How much?
I think 150,
150?
and they do it for here for once in Trail Creek.
At Trail Creek also?
Yes.
Okay. That sounds reasonable then, thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking for, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're paid bills, moving on. All right, Mr. Haynes is not in, port operations, pretty much status quo. I know we got some application for returning people to come back to work for us this summer. Dan Messina is out also today. I know that the schedule came out for the Coho invitationals and stuff, so next meeting, Dan will go over that. Mr. Manor, Master Planning Special Projects and Park Liaison.
I have nothing to report today.
Anything, Bruce, from the park board meeting, or is that coming up?
Park board meeting is, we are the first and third, they're the second and the fourth.
Okay,
So-
so that's this week.
Yes, that's this week.
Okay.
Mhm.
Perfect. All right, Mr. Cypress, advertising proclamations.
Nothing to report at this time.
The attorney report from Mr. Zachman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier today, I emailed to the board the 2024 annual report addressing the audit of our internal controls. And as indicated in the general findings, we believe that the internal controls are working as intended. We had no losses, no variances, no thefts, nothing that would implicate our internal controls. The State Board of Accounts, as indicated on page 2, conducted an audit of the City of Michigan City, and as part of its audit, it audited the Port Authority. There were no material issues or no material losses indicated in the audit report. As I understand it, if there are material losses or material issues, then the State Board of Accounts will get in touch with staff. No such communication from the State Board of Accounts, so we can assume that we were clear. The audit of the Port Authority in connection with the audit of the City of Michigan City for 2024 will occur in 2025. Again, no known or suspected violations or losses were reported to me, to staff, and I'm assuming to the board because I didn't hear anything from the board about any losses or violations. As has been the policy since 2018, staff has been handing out to every new employee copies of certain of our policies, like ethics and conflict of interest policy, the internal controls policy, I believe also the drug and alcohol testing policy, and several others. Staff encourages each person, each new employee to read them, and then they maintain a log of each employee having received these. They check them off that the policies were provided. As to the mandatory drug and alcohol testing policy, we had no incidents in 2024 that would have raised the issue of mandatory drug testing. Again, that's if an employee driving a vehicle owned by the Port Authority gets into an accident that causes personal injury, bodily damage, or substantial damage to a vehicle, then the automatic alcohol and drug testing policy kicks in. No such incidents to report. Each employee of the Port Authority is subject to the city's random drug testing policy, although I understand what the city tries to do is randomly test those people who are in, for example, law enforcement, people who might be driving a vehicle, someone who would possibly cause serious liability if they were on drugs or alcohol during the job and got into an accident or something. Somebody who's sitting at a desk, they're less worried about, but that's the city's policy. But again, our employees are subject to it. In terms of any developments in 2024 that would implicate the internal controls policies and procedures, there were no developments of concern. The Trail Creek launch fee collection status, you may recall that a few years ago we noticed there may be a vulnerability in that a lot of voters were paying with cash and some with credit cards. So now the person employed to launch the boats there is handed a handheld device which he or she can use to take credit cards and I believe also give receipts for cash received. The number of cash users seems to be decreasing substantially because now people know there's a credit card reader there and they're starting to increase the use of credit cards. Parking sticker control, again, several years ago, I think back in 2018, staff noticed that somebody was counterfeiting parking stickers. They introduced a measure that would make it very easily known if somebody had a counterfeit parking sticker on their vehicle. Staff periodically audits the parking lot to see if there are any such counterfeit stickers. We haven't seen any for 2024, I think, since 2018. That problem, I think, was addressed and no further incidents of counterfeit parking stickers. Access to and protection of Port Authority property. Staff and management has continued to increase the number of cameras and their quality. Obviously, we're not going to talk about their location or their number. We also have a private security firm that patrols the property when Port Authority employees generally aren't available to do so. So we've beefed up security in terms of cameras and somebody here that's watching this space. Fuel dock shortage issue, that seems to be addressed by increased education and also periodic audits of what's going on over there. And also, staff has informed employees, because they've been adequately trained and will continue to be adequately trained, that if there are losses in the future, it's going to be their financial responsibility. There have been no changes in legislation, regulation, or other policies of which I'm aware that would affect our internal controls. And in terms of technology and vendors, we continue to use the PayPal portal, which is a secure portal that our licensees can use to make their payments. They seem to like it. There seems to be an increased use of it. It's very secure. I think the transaction is encrypted, and so there's a very low risk of anybody hacking into that system. The gas stock has been upgraded to a credit card chip reader, correct? And so that's another way to reduce fraud. Again, we don't store customer credit card numbers or social security numbers, which would be a vulnerability if somebody hacked in and we're able to access that information. We have no vendors that use any sort of an auto debit function. All of our bills are paid through the comptroller. There's a request made that the comptroller issue a check to pay a vendor, but there has to be an invoice that accompanies that request, and so it's essentially done on paper. Again, we don't have any auto debit. Let's see. Yeah, we're unaware of any instance in which the Port Authority's network or computer systems were hacked, or that we were the victim of an intrusion or a virus or anything of that sort. The city's IT department provides antivirus and anti-hacking software, and we rely on them largely for that. They require, every month or every 3 months, changing your password, which is the first line and probably the best line of defense against intrusions and hacking. And unless someone has a question, that's all I have for the 2024 report.
Right. Sounds good to me.
Nice job.
Thank you. Yeah, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
I'd like to say it's a very thorough report.
Thank you.
Appreciate that very much.
You're very welcome.
I think we did a good job at 24.
Thanks. Yeah, we did. Mary Ann, is this the only bid that we received? Okay. Do you want me to go to the bid now?
Might as well.
Okay. We have one bid for the lease at Base Camp, little store out here. And it is from the current tenant, Base Camp Marina Cafe and Provisions. I'm looking over the cover letter and assuming there is the check in here. Yes, it is. Base Camp proposes a monthly rent, and again, this is from May to October. It's not for the entire year, of $1,200 a month. And then let's see. I think. Okay. Well, this is just a copy of the proposed lease, notice of non-discrimination in employment, non-investment in land, includes an affidavit affirmative action of equal employment. Okay, it appears that everything required is here, although I'll have to go back tomorrow and look at the list to ensure that everything that is required to be in the bid package is in fact here. Again, the check is here for $1,000. The proposal is for $1,200. There are no other bids, so if the board wants to review this, they're free to do it. or someone could make a motion that, subject to review to ensure that everything that needs to be included in the package is in fact here, we would approve the lease for, I guess it's Base Camp Marina Cafe and Provisions.
Did you mention insurance in there?
Yeah, there is a certificate of insurance, $1 million per occurrence, $2 million aggregate, so
Okay.
that meets the,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll make a motion that we approve the bid based on,
Final checklist.
yeah, final checklist.
subject to review.
Yeah, subject to review. That's the only bid we've got.
I'll second that motion.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Do you have anything else for us tonight?
I do not.
You're all set?
Oh, I do have a substantial draft of the license between the Visitors Bureau and the Port Authority for the, I guess it's the super boat races. Mr. Frame has given me some comments, which I will incorporate in, and then probably sometime this week I'll be able to circulate it to the board so they can take a look at it. It's substantially similar to the license agreement between the Visitors Bureau and the Park Department, although the Park Department has a whole long list of, their checklist of things that I think we can just piggyback on them. We don't need to have them do that separately for us. If they've done it for the Park Department, then we'll just ask them for copies
As
of
long
what
as
they
we're
did.
inclusive to it.
Right, yeah. And then I reached out to Charlie Keene to get his opinion on the level of insurance that we should require. I talked to Mr. Frame, the equipment that they use to get the boats into and out of the water, they rent their own cranes, they have their own operators, so we shouldn't be on the hook for like one of these multi-million-dollar boats crashing onto the dock or something. But we want to make sure that we require the right level of insurance for them so that nobody comes looking at us.
Correct.
So I reached out to Mr. Keene about that.
Perfect. Perfect. Anybody else have any new business they want to bring? No? Old business? We don't have any old business. Table to staying on the table. So anybody else have anything they want to mention?
No. Yes, the people say that.
Anybody else with any other comments from the public? No?
I'll make
Excuse me real quick.
Yes.
Just, hi, I'm Nicole from Base Camp.
Oh, hi.
I just wanted to comment on the lease that I signed the first 2 years. I never noted it, but there's 3 things that are listed as property of the building, and there was nothing in the building when I took it over. So there's like, it's totally, it's very small, it says a whiteboard, refrigerator and something else. There was nothing in
Refrigerator,
that.
freezer, 3-compartment stainless steel
The
sink.
3-compartment sink, I believe, is yours, but nothing else was
Okay.
there. So I never commented upon that when I signed it the first year, but I think Tim knows and understands. The 3-compartment sink was the only thing in.
It's all upstairs at Trail Creek,
It is,
because she
okay.
didn't need it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean,
So now we can eliminate that.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll take
that's just
that.
it. I just wanted to point that out.
We'll adjust that. That's no
Okay,
problem.
very good, thanks.
Okay.
Yes, Vic.
My name is Victor Curie, I'm the owner of Harbor Country Adventures. I just had a quick question, actually for Attorney Joe. Have we got any closer on the ground leases for the property adjacent to the Fish Camp restaurant? At the last meeting, I think you guys were talking about it and nobody had gotten back to anything.
For the yacht club?
Yeah, for Yacht Club, I
I
meant.
haven't heard a word.
Okay.
Ready.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Here we go.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.